For many years, I babysat the children across the street from my home. I feel as though I half-raised the younger of the two boys since his parents weren't always home, and even if they were, I was constantly being called over to watch him ever since he was only a few months old. They were relatively new neighbors when I started babysitting. The previous owners of the home were an elderly couple. From what I know, the wife passed away, and the husband moved into a retirement home shortly afterwards. I'm not entirely sure where she died, but I think it may have been within this home. Anyway, several years ago, when I was probably 15, I was babysitting the youngest child while the eldest went out with his parents for a reason I cannot remember. The two of us were in the basement playing with some toys when suddenly I heard a loud sound. If I wasn't mistaken, it sounded as though someone was snoring. The noise immediately sent shivers down my spine. I knew the boy and I had to be the only ones at home at this time. I saw every other family member leave soon and after arrived that afternoon. I tried calming myself down by half convincing myself I was just hearing things. Or perhaps the family bought a new appliance that emits sounds I was unaccustomed to. The sound continued, however, until eventually the child gasped, "Listen, you hear that? I think Daddy's home. It sounds like he's sleeping." By this point, I knew beyond a doubt that it wasn't just my imagination. There was a sound, and the consensus was that it sounded like a snore. "Let's go see him!" the boy cried excitedly. Although I was curious to see if there were a logical explanation for this sound, I was extremely nervous creeping up the set of stairs from the basement to the main level, and finally up to the top level. The nearer we got to the parents' bedroom, the louder the snore-like sound became. By now my heart was pounding and I began to get cold sweats. Finally, we were just outside the bedroom door. The sound was now louder than ever. The boy opened the door, and as soon as it swung open, the sound immediately ceased. "Where's Daddy?" the boy said with a frown. He seemed more disappointed than anything. He was probably too young to truly process what just happened. As for me, I began to counting down the seconds until it was time for me to go home.